33 now, so that's a good number. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Welcome, everybody, to the November 2020 election edition of the Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. We've got a really exciting meeting planned today, a number of new people joining us, and we want to have a chance to hear from everybody before we end the call. As you could see from some of the slides that have been showing, this is the mission and the vision of the Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. I want to take 2 seconds to just remind everybody, not only does this vision and mission kind of represent a stalwart kind of commitment that we make, but we've been doing this the first Friday of every month for going on 6 odd years now, or at least 5 years, probably almost 6. And if nothing else, just knowing that this gathering is a regular drumbeat of opportunity for those who are interested and involved in digital inclusion to get together is, I think, our greatest accomplishment and our greatest commitment to each other. So but there actually is a vision and mission statement. And if you ever do any social media, use the hashtag #IncludeKC. And that also is our Twitter handle, not to mention our Facebook page and our YouTube page, which thanks to the great work that Rick Usher has done, we've had for a number of years now. So today, really briefly, I just want to go through the agenda. And before I do that, hold on, I did forget that slide. Those of you who are brand new, know that we do urge you to become a member. Those of you who are members, we urge you to take advantage of what it means being a member, having this network. There is no cost. If you go to the website, digitalinclusionkc.org /join, you'll be able to get that information in there. And we want to make sure all members have a forum to make sure that everyone else knows who they are, what they're doing. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see that part of the agenda, and we're going to kind of do some brief introductions today, but because there are a number of new members, we are going to be planning for future meetings for anyone that is a new member to have a good amount of time, 5, 6, 10 minutes, whatever, based on information that you would like to present about who you and your organization is and what they do. We like to make sure that you have that opportunity to address the whole coalition. So I'm Tom Esselman. I am the Executive Director of PCs for People Kansas City, formerly known as Connecting for Good. Thank you all for being here. We are part of the coalition. We do have a steering council. As we do introductions, I'm going to go down the list. I will point out the members of the steering council, and then I'm going to have that go straight into our new member introductions. But before I do any of that, I want my first introduction to be Lindsay Pulse, who, after, like I said, 5 some odd years of doing the coalition without a designated person helping us do stuff, we finally have that person, and that is Lindsay. And she's an AmeriCorps Vista member, and she's been helping us now for a number of weeks. And I'm going to hand it over briefly to Lindsay to make a couple of quick announcements. Lindsay?
Hey everyone, thanks Tom. I just have a quick couple of things I want to bring your attention to. Let me get it pulled up on this slide really quick. And for those that don't know, I know Tom, you touched on this. I am the outreach coordinator for the Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. So the 2 things to watch out for, both of these are going to go out in the post-meeting email today. The first one is going to be an event submission form. So a goal of mine and something that I am working on is getting regular promotion of coalition member events. And the submission form is just going to be a good way to get this under one kind of roof. It's really quick. It's a who, what, when, where, why Google form. So if you have anything that's going on in the next month that you want posted to Twitter or Facebook or whatever, please submit it on that form. Like I said, this time it's going to go out in this post-meeting email. Eventually it will go out in a monthly newsletter. So you will have plenty of opportunity to do that. And if you have any questions about it, just email me directly at lindsaypulse@kclibrary.org, or you can respond to the digital inclusion email that the post-meeting notes will come from. And then on that note about social media promotion, the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention was a new Facebook page. So currently there is a Facebook group for the coalition that is not going anywhere. It will still exist, and everything will stay the same on there. In fact, it will be what I'm going to do now that this has been announced is I will integrate it with this Facebook page. And basically what the Facebook page is, it'll be kind of similar, but the functionality of it is a little bit different than the way that Facebook groups work. And it'll work a little bit better for what we're trying to accomplish with communications and all that kind of stuff. That is also where these events are going to be posted if they're submitted through that form. So please like and follow. Like I said, that will also be in this post-meeting email. And if you have any questions, like I said, just reach out to me. And now I will hand it back to Tom.
Thank you, Lindsay. I just wanted to make sure, especially for some of you who may have to leave early, that you know and get familiar with Lindsay and the work that she's doing on behalf of the coalition, and really helping us with all of our communication outreach, which is just a critical part of what we're doing. I just want to go through the participant page and acknowledge many of you who are here on a regular ongoing basis, but also those of you who are here for the first time. If you're following along on the chat page, you'll notice we have a couple of members from Wichita joining us today. Mike Maida and Mike Barnett. I want to give a shout out to you guys. And as I go down the list, I also want to call out those of you who are regular attendees and members of the steering council. The first and certainly the one person that you're most accustomed to seeing in these meetings is the president of the coalition, and that's Carrie Coogan, the deputy director of the Kansas City Public Library. And Carrie will be doing the best job she can to hold me in check as I'm playing hosting duties today as a member of the steering council as well. Dave Lacrone, who has been working with us to help us just organize and coordinate all the communication of the coalition for many years, is with us and helping hosting from the Zoom perspective. William Wells, who's been a long time member. William, great to have you here. Bernie Haldeman, from I like to call it the Geeks for God squad, from Kansas City. Tony Lupini, who I'm going to switch back to in just a quick second because I know he needs to leave, from UMKC. You've met Lindsay, Brian Cavender. Brian, welcome. Nice to have you with us. Enrique Shaw. Rick Usher, who's another coalition steering committee member, along with Aaron Deacon from Kansas City Digital Drive. Ron Green, welcome Ron, longtime member from Digistory. John Fitzpatrick, nice to see you. I'm glad originally it just said John F, and I was going to guess that was John Fitzpatrick, and it is in fact, and representing the healthcare community. Thanks for joining us, John, from KC Digital Drive as well. Ben Oglesby, Kim Geil, Fred. I can't remember, Fred. Your last name's not there, and I'm trying to place who you are. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Fred Briscoe. I'm a program analyst with HUD.
Oh, that's right. I've seen you before, Fred. Thank you for joining us. Jennifer Mclaughlin. Jennifer, I'm not familiar with you. What organization are you with?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Mclaughlin. I am with an organization called Unite Us. We essentially connect health and social care via our technology platform, and are doing that in over 60 communities, working alongside 60 communities in the country in over 40 states. I am here in Kansas City and based here in Kansas City, and will be here in Kansas City. network that we will build here will roll out probably sometime next year. And essentially our model is that there's a funder which makes this software available at no charge to community-based organizations. So I just wanted to learn about what's going on as far as the Kansas City community, connecting health and social care, what is happening with referral networks, and so that we can participate and learn and participate in conversations as far as addressing social determinants of health to help improve health outcomes.
Very nice. Thank you. I'm glad you could join us today. Mike Lodwigan, you know what, if I really owe you guys all an opportunity to introduce yourselves. But I think what I'm going to do, knowing that we've got a member here, I'm going through all the names. I want to give everyone a chance to introduce themselves. But what I want to do for the sake of time is make sure I give a chance for Tony Lupino to share something with us before he has to go, because I know he has to leave at 11. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle back to the introductions after I give Tony a chance to talk. And the reason is this. One of the primary outcomes that we try to deliver through the coalition is the ability to make it very easy to access people and resources that have to do with efforts designed to close the digital divide and focus on all the aspects of digital inclusion. And Tony and his colleagues at UMKC have been working at a state level with something called Missouri Broadband Resource Rail. And there's an important technological tool that came out of the work of a group called SourceLink that we're going to be adopting as a part of the work we do with the coalition to make it very easy to identify and access, where the needs are and where the resources are associated with digital inclusion efforts. So with a brief apology to those of you I haven't given a chance to introduce yourselves yet, I just want to make sure that I hand over to Tony Lupino so he can explain to you who he is, what work we're doing, and in particular, how we're planning in an upcoming meeting to make it easy for everyone who's involved, not only as a member, but if you're a prospective member, to know how to create a profile on this Missouri Broadband Resource Rail. So Tony, if I can hand it over to you so we can get you before you have to go.
Thank you, Tom. I very much appreciate that, and I apologize for disrupting the schedule. I couldn't change the 11 o'clock appointment. Quickly, the Missouri Broadband Resource Rail is a product of a UM system initiative, and in particular drew on KC SourceLink and the SourceLink technology some of you may know in our region from their doings with connecting entrepreneurship resources generally. Also drew on an operation out of Columbia called All Things Missouri Cares that does data mapping and story maps. And when you look at it, I see Rick has already put the link up. You'll see lots of information there that's relevant to digital equity and digital inclusion. The specific thing Tom is talking about is critical for connecting people. And we're going to have a meeting next week, so several of the people from the steering council and others to make sure that's a nice streamlined process. The way it works in essence is when you get to the site, just click on the resource navigator function, and you'll see that there's a way to input information about your programs, your resources that are relevant here. It is not a simple form in terms of the information requested, because the idea is to really find out quite a bit about what you're doing so that these sophisticated filters that are built into the software can help people navigate to the best possible list of resources that might suit their needs. It also has a geographical function you can add. So if you wanted to say, we're looking for these kind of resources, but only within so many miles of a zip code, it can do that as well. So it's a pretty sophisticated platform that SourceLink has used for years. Many of the collaborators with the coalition are putting together resources to help connect people. So this is a free function that's already there. It is called Missouri Broadband Resource Rail, but we're looking for resources on both sides of the state line here. So what we plan, and Tom and others and I have been talking about this, is to make sure it's a nice, smooth process to submit these resource profiles, and then we'll make a presentation back here to the coalition. So sort of a guide to how to walk through it. So we may be able to just handle that through email. But that's what we're doing. We've already had several productive conversations with Carrie Coogan and Wendy Pearson at the library, and Tom and Rick Usher and others, to see how we can best utilize this asset. It has things like county events and stuff too. So Lindsay, I'll contact you. Maybe we can coordinate getting cross population of information on what you're doing in there. That's the gist of it. Tom, does that pretty well cover?
That does, Tony. And again, to all of you on the call, and we are going to get back to what we primarily like to do in these meetings, is have each and every one of you introduce yourselves. But the reason I just didn't want to miss the opportunity for you all to see and hear what Tony's been working on is particularly relevant. I don't know how many of you were on the call back in August, when a lot of us were trying to deal with a few months worth of reaction to the pandemic and schools getting ready to start, and a lot of people who otherwise had previously never been involved in digital inclusion work were all busy and active and at the table. And we dedicated that meeting to the idea of how can we create a tool that recognizes and takes advantage of this 5 to 6 year history of so many people coming together once a month to share their involvement and activity in digital inclusion. And as we have found out, from a technology and functionality perspective, what Tony and the Missouri Broadband Resource Rail have already been doing, working with SourceLink, it kind of saves us a lot of time and trouble with respect to how to, kind of organize those things. And we've got a couple people on this call who are involved on a project management side, and as Tony reflected in his comments, that are going to help bring those together. But I just really, really wanted to make sure everybody was aware that this is a tool that we will be looking for every one of you to have some input in, and some regular need and accessibility for using this as a tool as we go forward. And we will have more to follow up in terms of how to step-by-step create your profile on this platform in future meetings. So yeah, that's very much what I wanted to cover, Tony. Thank you so much. And you have a couple of minutes, hopefully, to stay on, because what I'd like to do is, I'm now looking at the now 47 participants on this call. Really, honestly, we are nothing as a coalition if it's not for the sake of just everyone having a chance to meet each other. So I'm going to literally go back up to the top, and I'm going to ask each one of you to just introduce yourself so everyone can see you, understand what organization you're with, and if you have anything very brief that you can add so that people will understand who you are and what you do. I think that would be, that's really the essence of what we're all about. And then in terms of sticking with our agenda, there are a couple of quick, kind of more lengthy updates that we're going to be asking Aaron Deacon to make on a phenomenal breakthrough in terms of the chance to have your internet bills paid for through some government assistance programs. So we're going to ask Aaron to do that. We'll be asking Rick Usher to provide an update on how we are prepping, we meaning the information from the coalition members, a congressional delegation visit relative to the urgency of digital inclusion activities. And then I'm going to have a couple of people who have really worked on behalf of kind of the more regional scope that we have as part of the coalition, to have them give us some updates on what's happening in places like Douglas County, Johnson County, Wyandotte County, not to mention just what we're doing here in the Kansas City and Jackson County region. And then all that's going to leave us hopefully about 20-25 minutes at the end for people to share their reactions to this election, how it's affecting your work now and in the future, and how we might hear from you about how post-election we're going to start reflecting your issues and needs and concerns as we manage the coalition going forward. So right now, I'm just going to kind of go down the list, and I'm going to start with Carrie and ask each of you to just introduce yourselves. Are you still there, Carrie?
Yeah, sorry. Hi, I'm Carrie Coogan. I'm Deputy Director of the Kansas City Public Library and a part of the Steering Council of the Coalition. Just want to welcome everybody to the call today, and especially our newest members from across the state line.
Thank you, Carrie. Dave? Dave LaCrone?
Sorry. My name is Dave LaCrone. I'm the digital branch manager here at the Kansas City Public Library. I have helped support the work of the Steering Council and the Coalition generally for a number of years. And my role is basically to coordinate all the digital services the library provides to Kansas Cityans.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. How about William Wells?
Hey, good morning, everyone. William Wells, Executive Director of the STEAM Village. Really admire all the great work you guys are doing, so keep it up. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, William. All right, we'll go to Bernie.
Hi, I'm Bernie Haldeman. I'm with Gigs for God. It's a ministry at Church of the Resurrection. We work closely with, well, it used to be Connecting for Good with Tom's group, and we provide computers and networks to our mission partners in the Kansas City area.
Thanks, Bernie. Tony, we've had you, and Lindsay, we've had you introduce yourself. How about Brian Cavender?
Hi, I'm Brian Cavender from Mid-Continent Public Library. I'm with the Square One team out there. I help people with connecting to resources for finding work, career advancement, things like that. And if anybody here has searched for a job in the past 15 years, a lot of that involves some computer skills, having that kind of basic digital literacy. So that's why I'm here for that.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian. Welcome. Enrique, I passed over you quickly last time, but I knew I'd be coming back to you. Enrique Shaw.
Yes, I'm from the HUD Kansas City Regional Office, and I'm the site lead for the Vision Center Kansas City Eastern Village. So just here to listen and learn. Thank you. Good. Nice to see you. And my esteemed colleague, Rick Usher.
Hey, Rick Usher, City Manager's Office, and I'm happy to maybe have reached my exit strategy as the social media intern for the coalition. Thank you, Lindsay, for the work you're doing, taking this to a higher level.
We'll be coming back to you, Rick, for your update. Same way with Aaron. Would you like to introduce yourself? Aaron Deacon.
Yeah, I'm Aaron Deacon, Managing Director for KC Digital Drive.
Thank you, Aaron. Ron Green.
Hi, I'm Ron Green, founder of Digistory KC. We're all about digital media training for youth and helping the talent pipeline for KC's digital media industry.
Ron, any update on the Disney building?
Yes, actually, there's a lot going on there. The building got a $160,000 TIF grant from the city, matched by the Walton Lilly Disney Foundation. So we're doing a facelift that'll be starting anytime real soon.
Now, is that the building that's in your background screen on
yes,
your?
That's the original Laugh Graham building where Walt started his one of his first animation companies here in Kansas City. And I will send information later. We're having a sneak preview to give people an update of what's going on with all of that in December.
Excellent, excellent. For those of you who may not be familiar, just if you don't mind, take 10, 15, 20 more seconds, Ron, and let everyone, because we have some people from far and wide on this call. Sure. And I don't know that they realized that Walt Disney had his first studio here in Kansas City.
Sure. This studio was the Laugh Graham studio. He created Laugh Grahams, which were kind of roaring 20s, like fractured fairy tales. And it was his first start in animation. And it's called the birthplace of Hollywood animation because there are about 8 or 9 pioneers that he hired. They basically taught themselves how to do animation. When he went bankrupt and went to California, they all followed him out there and they founded all the major Hollywood animation studios. They all got their start here in Kansas City.
Very cool. Thanks for that, Ron. How about John Fitzpatrick? John, I haven't seen you in forever.
I'm sorry about that. I'm John Fitzpatrick with KC Digital Drive. I help coordinate a number of the healthcare activities. And as you would well recognize, there's such a crossover between digital equity in general and equity within healthcare that it's very important that we all stay very close together.
Very good. Thanks for joining us today, John. How about Ben Oglesby?
Hi, good morning. I'm Ben Oglesby, marketing specialist with the Johnson County Library, and I'm part of a team that's working on developing some resources to connect patrons to resources that can help them through this time. I'm just trying to listen and soak up as much information as I can, so thank you for having me.
Good. Well, I know we're going to be working, PCs for People in Kansas City is going to be working with Johnson County Library on some of our distribution of computers and hotspot devices for low-income populations there. So glad you could join us today. How about Kim? Kim from the library. Nice to see you joining us as usual.
Thank you. I am Kim Geil with the Kansas City Public Library, where I'm the community reference manager here. And we are moving all of our programming to the virtual format, and we are really struggling with how to get the content and resources and support to people who are not connected and don't have the devices. And so that's why we're at the table today.
Excellent. Thanks, Kim. How about back to you, Fred? Quick intro.
I'm Fred Briscoe. I'm a program analyst with HUD. I'm the FOIA regional liaison. And for those who don't know, FOIA stands for Freedom of Information Act. It's a statute designed to govern how the government releases information to the public. And also I'm the Kansas City, Kansas site liaison. Excellent.
Thanks, Fred. We've been, as Connecting for Good, we did a lot of work, and we continue to do a lot of work through HUD with the Housing Authority, and we're in a couple of new properties now, which we're excited about. So glad you could join us. Jennifer, we were able to get your introduction before. Thank you very much. Let's hear from Mike Lodwigan.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Mike Lodwigan. I'm a manager with the Government Affairs Group with Charter Communications, and good to be with you all. My role has really changed over the last few months with COVID and everything. And typically, our role within Government Affairs is to work with policymakers in Jeff City and at the local level. And with COVID and a number of the initiatives that are going on with nonprofits and that are part of this group and local governments, we've really sort of changed our focus. And my focus has really changed in order to just connect the various groups with Charter and a number of the programs we are offering to really help connect people. And those have really paid off. We've obviously responded to the RFQ that Kansas City, Missouri has put out, and been working with Aaron and a couple of I don't know what's a program I think we're going to hear about here a little later on. So really exciting work that's going on with a number of groups, and we're excited to be participating with all of them. So good to be with everyone.
Great. Thanks, Mike. You represent one of a number of ISPs who are with us in the coalition who are on this call. So I appreciate you joining us today. Let's go to Catherine Eisler.
Hi, everybody. I'm here as an intern with City Today's Institute. More specifically, I'm here with Bob Bennett, who is my project manager. Thank you guys for letting me attend today. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Where are you located, Catherine?
I'm here in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we are looking forward to hearing and seeing Bob after working with him for many years. So I'm glad you could be here working together with Bob. Tremendous. And Rachel from JFS.
Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Rachel Olhausen. I work at Jewish Family Services in Kansas City. Glad to be here. We are working on a couple of projects for digital access. One for our families who attend our food pantries. We serve both Jackson and Johnson County. And then also My specific program, Tech Connect, we've been working on getting older adults tablets and internet access, but then also providing a basic tablet training curriculum. And we're finishing up our first 10-week pilot cohort. So glad to be here.
Nice. Thanks, Rachel. Glad you're here as well. Leslie Scott, longtime member. Glad to have you, as always. What's the latest, Leslie?
Hi, well, I'm helping Aaron with the Internet Access Support Program, which you'll hear about later. And I also have the website reuseful.org that matches people with gently used items they no longer need with nonprofits that can put them to good use. So I'll drop that link in the chat. You can sign up for free. It's free for everyone to use. So I invite everybody to join if you can. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thanks, Leslie. Mike Chambers.
Thanks, Tom. Mike Chambers with AT&T. I'm the Regional Director of External Affairs. I do a lot of work on tower permitting right now. I was in Clinton County at the courthouse late last night. Just recently had one approved in Clay County. I kind of, Madeline Romius is really AT&T's key contact for this group, but I like to be involved because I've got 32 counties that I cover. 2 of them are Platte and Clay, which are the northland of the metro. And it's been a busy time, but I love this group and your passion, and you guys just are hustling, and it's really beneficial to kind of take some of these ideas to the outstate areas. I know University of Missouri is really involved out there with the Farm Bureau and the extension offices. So it's a process, but it's different here in Kansas City. I know your outreach is a little different, but it's fun to be a part of it. So thanks.
Very good. Great to have you, Mike. You've been with us a number of times, so appreciate you being here. Hadiza Saadu, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Hadiza Saadu. I am the Small Business Engagement Specialist, part of the Community Reference Team at Kansas City Public Library. I'm also now the Nonprofit Specialist, and I often forget to include that in my title. So like Kim said, we've really been trying to figure out how we reach our patrons that are on the other side of the digital divide with our virtual programming. Another thing that we're working on right now is with tech access, so specifically with Wendy and Megan, who are both on this call now. We are at the very beginning stages of figuring out how we reach patrons where they are as far as their digital skills go. So what we are working on is, and again, this is very early stages, but what we're hoping to be able to create are basically digital access kits that can be sent home so that people can basically have tools so that they can develop their own digital skills and then be able to take full advantage of either job resources or resources for their business.
That's fantastic, Hadiza. And I know there's a lot of senior citizen and older adult residences that could benefit from that as well. Looking forward to working with you and Wendy and the team more on that with tech access. Great stuff. Mary Kay Morrow. Hi, Mary Kay.
Hi, Tom. Thanks a lot. I'm Mary Kay Morrow, and I'm with Literacy KC. We are an adult education nonprofit located at 31st and Truce. And I knew that was going to happen. My bird clock is going off because you introduced me. But digital has become very quickly a critical component of all of our programs, and we're working really hard on it. So thank you for all that you're doing.
Great. Thanks for being here, Mary Kay. Edwin Birch.
Hello, Tom, and good morning, everyone. I'm Edwin Birch, the Executive Director of Marketing and Communications for Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools. This is my first time being here and just interested and looking forward to learning everything I can.
Well, I'm glad you're joining us. We're doing a lot of work with the district, in fact, on both sides of the state line. I know there's CARES Act funding, and there's some other things that we're doing to make sure that any of your families that have not been able to get home technology are certainly, not left out. and we just want to make sure we continue to partner with you. And I'm glad you're here, and you can kind of see and hear the diversity of the mix of people involved in this issue. So
yes, yes, and I'm looking forward to it. And as you know, it's been a challenge with the connection of our students and that sort of thing. And so I think this pandemic has pushed us into an area a lot quicker than what we were ready to deal with at one time. But I think with the collaboration and support from everybody, we can get through this.
excellent. Well, it's perhaps by coincidence, but it's a nice coincidence that the next person is also from a school district, Shawnee Mission School District, Christie Ziegler.
Yep. Good morning, everybody. I'm Christie Ziegler. I proudly serve as the Chief of Student Services for Shawnee Mission Schools and pretty passionate about technology access. And I'll echo Edwin's comments about the situation we're in and kind of the push that we've experienced in trying to get access in the homes for internet service. So that's been a big focus of our work here over the last few months of serving our families.
Great. And again, Christy, I'll tell you, you're going to be hearing from us at PCs for People as part of our work with the strike force and Johnson County work on the CARES Act stuff. So we got inventory, we've got a distribution process I'm working through with Aaron Deacon, and we're ready to rock. So that'll be fun working with you.
Awesome.
All right. We've got James Wisdom.
Yeah, Jim Wisdom from the city of Lawrence. I'm the IT director. I mainly work on a lot of fiber projects for the city. We have partnerships with a number. We're connected, several connections with KU, with the Douglas County, the library, we just recently connected Haskell Indian Nations University. And then we've done, I'm skipping a bunch, I guess, but we're mostly trying to help other public agency partners. And we've also, our fiber extends over to, we have like ambulance stations in Eudora and Baldwin. And so we go there. And we also are working on, we have like 3 vendors that we provide like 96 strands of fiber for, we have like 8 buffer tubes that we will lease to fiber providers or internet providers at a very, very dirt cheap price if they will help improve things for the citizens of Lawrence. Nice. And I'm also trying to get connections to Kansas City, working on some things with that. So with
good.
Possibly some other partners. So I'm just trying to expand our network all the time.
Well, Jim, we're thrilled you're here. I know our meeting last month, we had Jill Joliker from Douglas County, and we're just thrilled to be able to, expand the reach of the work we do here with the coalition. So just glad you can join us.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
How
about, go ahead.
I don't know if she's here. I didn't see her on the screen, but.
Oh, that's okay. We're keeping in touch with her, and as long as you may be the only Douglas County representative on today's meeting, but we'll keep circling back to Jill as well. So
yeah, I know she wanted, she was able to use some of the CARES funds.
I'm just getting back
to get some of the internet services you're talking about for citizens. So,
good stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks again. How about Lydia Combe?
Yes, I'm glad to be here. My name is Lydia Combe. I'm with the University of Missouri Extension in Jackson County. And what we do is we are the outreach and engagement arm of the University of Missouri system. We provide research-based educational programs, mainly under youth and families, nutrition, business, community development, horticulture. And we have a team, a 40+ team here in Jackson County, and we work with various organizations and agencies to respond to needs of our community.
Excellent. Well, Lydia, I'm sorry I mispronounced your last name. It's Comey. Thank you for joining us from the extension.
Thank you.
How about Michael Barnett?
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Barnett. I'm the Smart City Coordinator for the City of Wichita. Thank you all for the warm welcome. I work under Mike Maida, who's our CIO. He's here as well. We have been trying to work on the digital equity, digital divide issue for quite a while now. Everything from hotspots, like you guys bring your libraries, to a number of other resources. During COVID, it became abundantly clear that those are stopgaps. They're simply just not adequate. We noticed through communication with the local school district, USD 259, and citizens, that we had a large group of students and families who are now out of work and were unable to go to school because of COVID. And then on top of that, they no longer had access to the internet because they couldn't afford it. We also have large areas of the city that have do not meet the 25.3 minimum requirements to be broadband. And so trying to solve the gross disparity of access throughout the city is something that we've recently turned our eyes on, and Mike will probably get more into that. So thank you all for welcoming us.
Well, I'm glad you're joining us, Michael. And I know Rick Usher will have some things to share with you as well about our push to go to the 100, not to mention 25.3. So we'll get there. Anyway, next is a steering council colleague, Ina Montgomery. Hi, Ina.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? My name is Ina Montgomery of Urban Tech, and I will post in the announcements an event that I have scheduled for December 4th. It's the Urban Tech Technology College and Career virtual event hosted by Cisco Systems and partnered with University of Central Missouri. So I will be pivoting during this time, trying to provide an event that I do every year for about 500 students online. And again, that announcement will be posted on the social media outlets of the coalition. Thanks.
Thanks, Ina. Appreciate that. And I assume you will put that in the group chat, a link to that in the group chat.
Yes, and as well as the Facebook platform, the thing that you posted in the beginning of the meeting. Yeah,
yep.
That's where I was going to post it.
Facebook page. Okay, excellent. Thanks. So now I'd like to welcome back Roberto Bob Bennett. Nice to see your name on the list. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going good, brother. Good to see you as well. Well, I've been out in the wilderness. I went and joined the Cities Today Institute. I serve as the chair there now, and we're now actually helping out about 170 cities worldwide, probably about 40 of them here in the U.S., including Wichita, with Mike Maida and his guys. We're doing a lot of work on digital inclusion and actually bringing Tony Lupino into a few research efforts, and continuing to learn from this awesome group, and holding up the Kansas City Metro as an all-star for everyone else to emulate. So great to be back.
Awesome. And thanks for honoring Red Friday. Go Chiefs. I can't let a Friday go without saying that. Awesome. Great to see you, Bob. Yunjin So, one of our longtime members from KU, or maybe I should call you Professor. So, yeah, nice to see you again. If you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I'm Hyunjin So, a professor of digital media and emerging media at KU, and also a director of a new Center for Digital Inclusion at KU. So at KU, we try to organize research and community outreach activities in a more systematic manner through the center. So I'm very much looking forward to working more closely with coalition members. Thank you.
Excellent. Great to see you. Steve Chu.
Good morning. I'm Steve Chu. I'm at Microsoft on the state and local government team. In addition to my day job, I'm a diversity and inclusion advocate at Microsoft, and I'm looking for opportunities to grab assets from Microsoft philanthropies, I can't speak, to help with digital inclusion. I also serve in another capacity with former Governor Bob Holden. I'm on the technology committee at the U.S. Heartland China Association, and we are reaching out to different communities across the Heartland to see where the U.S. Heartland China Association can add value to a lot of the efforts happening with digital inclusion. Thank you.
Excellent. Steve, if you have any links or web addresses or anything that you could make available to members, please feel free to put them in the group chat so that the members can access that. I'm really glad you're joining us. Welcome. So now just to prove we are not just a local, we are not just a regional coalition, we are, dare I say, a national coalition. Art Ware has joined us today. Art?
Yes, I am extremely happy to be with like-minded people, and I got to try to be real quick because I got a good bit of content that I want to share out, and then I'll try to get into the chat. I'm on my cell phone. But
Okay.
I'm Arthur Ware, originally from a place called Huntsville, Texas, outside of Houston. I live in upstate New York, have been here for 30 years, and I work for an organization called the Dormitory Authority, State of New York, and I'm the founder of its 20-year plus TELP program, that's tax exempt leasing for equipment and technology. And I was the one that founded that, and we've done over 600 projects for nonprofits and charitable organizations throughout the state. Also an ambassador to the Intelligent Community Forum. Intelligentcommunity.org is our website. Involved with the National Collaborative for Digital Equity as well. I do a radio broadcast here at Skidmore College, skidmore.edu/WSPN is where you can find me on Sunday mornings. And I'm working with
Hello? Are you? No, Art must have dropped off unexpectedly. Well, I think what I'll do is I'll circle back and see if maybe we could set up a time at a future meeting. Art's got a fascinating background, a lot of activities, but we'll probably want to dedicate more time to his content when we can schedule a little bit more into the agenda. So let me just move on now and have Joe Robertson introduce himself. Hi, Joe.
Yeah, hi everybody. Joe Robertson. I'm with the Local Investment Commission, LINC, and we are an NGO nonprofit serving school communities in and around Kansas City. We provide a lot of services, including free before and after school programs. So we support all things that empower our communities, including digital inclusion. So very much. So glad to be here. Glad to keep working together.
Great to see you, Joe. You've been a great partner, and the work that LINC does really helps get the word out about all the things that are happening here in the digital inclusion field. So great to see you. How about our good friend and partner and colleague, Jeremy Higley from the Fed? Jeremy, are you there?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Jeremy Higley with the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. I work in community development, and for the last year or so have been working on an effort to encourage employers to donate their surplus computers to groups like PCs for People. We launched a campaign in April of this year, and since launched a campaign to encourage other employers on social media to donate. And since then, we're at 4,000 plus devices that have been donated, as far east as Puerto Rico and as far west as Utah. So, I haven't had a chance to talk to Tom, but we're getting ready to donate another 100 of our own computers to PCs for People. So, Tom, I'll have to follow up with you on that.
Great. Always great to see you, Jeremy. Carrie Stewart. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, friends. Carrie Stewart, William T. Kemper Foundation, housed at Commerce Bank. I'm one of the people that Tom mentioned earlier that didn't really realize there was Kool-Aid to be drank in this area until the pandemic hit. So since the spring, I've been more involved and passionate, and really just probably serve as a cheerleader for all of you doing the hard work as much as anything else. So it's good to be here today, and good to see your faces.
Thanks, Carrie. And all of you should know the W.T. Kemper Foundation and Commerce Bank have been tremendous partners and supporters of so much of the work that we're doing. So thanks for being here. And let's see, where am I at in my list? Megan McNaughton.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. My name is Megan McNaughton.
I am the Tech Access Coordinator at the Kansas City Public Library. You might have heard Hadiza name drop me and my coworker Wendy and the Tech Access team earlier. We're collaborating with Hadiza and her team to do digital access kits. She explained them much better than I ever could have. But my other position also includes getting volunteers and hosting digital literacy courses and Zoom sessions to interact with people all over the state and, well, mostly Kansas City area, to provide information and tips about how to use technology and their devices. We're really looking to bridge that digital divide. And I'm also currently in the role of the Digital Inclusion Fellow. It's sponsored by Google Fiber, and I am focusing on seniors for my project since, because of the coronavirus, you know, so many seniors have been affected. And it's hard for them to get in touch with friends or family if they don't have tech skills. So I'll be working on that for the next year. And thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Tremendous. Thanks so much, Megan. We're excited you're with us. And let's circle back to Mike Maida from Wichita. Michael?
Hi, Mike Maida from Wichita. I'm the CIO for the city. We're just here. We're doing, as Michael said, we're working on an equity project throughout the metro. So we're seeing what we can learn from you folks. You've been doing this for a while, and I want to thank Bob for the invite. So just here to pick your brains and see what we can bring back to Wichita. I will note, I should be wearing red. I'm originally from Kansas City.
Okay.
Was born on the plaza, so go Chiefs.
All right. Thanks, Mike. And Mike, I hope you can tell. I mean, I hope one of the learnings you take away is that the effort involves this type of a mix of people, from the most grassroots all the way up to ISPs and government institutions and everything in between. And we've been doing that, like I said, for a number of years now. So welcome. Glad you guys could join us. Let's move on to Lindsay Monroe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay Monroe. I am the development manager with the Kansas City, Kansas School Foundation for Excellence. And the foundation's sole purpose is just to provide support and resources to the KCKPS school district, our teachers, our families, and most of all, our students. And I am excited to be on this morning.
Excellent. We're excited to have you, Lindsay. Thanks for joining us. How about Sean Kavanaugh?
Yes, hi, Sean Kavanaugh. I'm actually with Verizon, part of our network partnerships organization, and I work with Holly Iverson Hayden, who is our state and government affairs, for this area. My role is primarily around our fiber build to support our network build in the overall Kansas, Missouri, and Southern Illinois region. But I work with lots of different departments, and I've been with the organization for a long time in a number of different roles, including smart communities and others. So recognize a lot of the names that are on this call, and look forward to partnering with everyone.
Great, thanks, Sean. Verizon's been a great partner, and we've already heard from Charter and AT&T, and we do have, I hope, Rachel Merlo from Google Fiber on the call, and I'm not sure who else might be representing the ISP community. So thanks for joining us. Let's move to Megan Morse.
Good morning. Megan Morris from the Hispanic Economic Development Corporation. I am the program analyst here. First I'll say I agree with Michael Chambers that the word of the year has been hustle. Our digital literacy program serves primarily new users whose first language is Spanish, and they learn better in their first language. So it's been quite a lot of getting our small businesses to make that very quick leap to online this spring and summer. The other focus has been on helping those parents who are challenged with proctoring online learning for their kids and have no idea where to begin. So this year we've been fostering some of our national partnerships. So we're now joining our classes of local people, our people from San Antonio and Philadelphia as well. So yeah, we've been able to continue helping out there, and I'm sorry I haven't been to one of these meetings in months and months, but it conflicts with another scheduled thing that I have. So I'm happy to be here today.
We're very glad to have you. Thanks, Megan. How about Mindy? Mindy Ryan.
Hi, Tom. Thank you. I am also part of the Kansas City Public Library team, and I work on a project for the digital inclusion cohort where I take a lot of the ideas that we gather from Kansas City and this coalition, and I share them with small and rural libraries throughout the nation. So I'm just one example of the nationwide impact that Kansas City has whenever they are trying new things and solving this issue. So I appreciate everybody that's been working on this for years and years and years, and I've seen you, and everybody that's joining us today. It's really exciting. So thank you all.
Excellent. I think it was about a year ago we were working on a project with a bunch of high school students, if I'm not mistaken. So it's good to see you again. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. We've got Mark Logan joining us today. Mark.
Hey, Tom. Hey, everybody. My name is Mark Logan. I'm with Idealect, and I've been working really closely with Aaron Deacon at KC Digital Drive for most of this year on COVID stuff, and also recently on the Internet Access Support Program here in Kansas City. I'm excited to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Mark did some great work with us with Connecting for Good and our branding a year or so ago. It's great to have you joining us, Mark. Great to see you. How about Ryan Hudnall?
Thank you. I'm a newcomer here also. Dr. Comey gave me the invite, so thank you, Lydia, for allowing me to join. I serve as the Executive Director at Delaware Community Services. We have a number of different initiatives that the questions for digital equity and digital inclusion are at the forefront, and COVID-19 exacerbated those. Dr. Comey and I connected. We just were named a recipient of a grant that explores digital equity within refugee and immigrant communities. Delaware is one of 2 refugee resettlement agencies. And so in 2021, in partnership with MU Extension and UMKC, we're going to focus on questions of digital equity and how they relate to health outcomes among 4 specific communities within Kansas City, including the Congolese, the Burmese, Mexicans, and Guatemalans. And so I am just so thankful for the opportunity to absorb all of your knowledge that you're sharing. I'm writing down names frantically so I can connect with all of you offline. So thank you for allowing me to join.
Fantastic. Welcome, Ryan. And last but not least in our intros, again, esteemed colleague from Kansas City Public Library, Wendy Pearson. Wendy.
Well, thank you very much for that. I'm Wendy Pearson, wearing red, so I had to turn my camera on. Happy Red Friday. Strategic Initiatives Manager at the Kansas City Public Library. So I manage several projects and programs with local, national impacts, all centered on digital inclusion in one way or another. You've heard from, I think, all of my team members today. But we are also excited to announce 2 very important grant projects, one funded locally, the other funded from state sources. And we will be launching a region-wide hotline for people in the Kansas City metro area to call to get any help related to anything related to digital inclusion. And that work will really rely heavily on the Missouri Broadband Resource Rail. And then our other project is we'll be acquiring almost 50 laptops that we're going to be able to lend out to patrons and community partners who are especially in need of devices for telehealth and higher education. And so we're really excited to be working on both of those projects right now and add to all the wonderful resources we're able to provide to the community. Thanks.
Tremendous. Thanks, Wendy. If there's anyone I missed, I will circle back to you, but just in the interest of time, we're already at 11:32, and I know Art where it looks like you may have gotten cut off before. We had mentioned we're going to come back to you and schedule you for an upcoming meeting so you can have a proper agenda time to present to us. You've got a lot of, I think, really, really useful information to share with us. But
yes, thank
but
you,
for
Tom.
now, oh, you bet. Yeah, glad to have
I'm
you back.
Yeah, thank you.
And
That'd be great.
yeah, we'll do that. So what I want to do now, we've got 3 remaining topics, 2 really important updates, one from Aaron Deacon, one from Rick Usher, and then I want to at least have some time to see what kind of reactions you all can share with us about the election. But first and foremost, I think one of the most breakthrough advances that we have to share with you that I think has relevance across everything that you guys are doing is the work I want to have Aaron Deacon update you on, and that has to do with a payment assistance program for broadband. There have been some programs in some cities, but I think what we're moving forward on here from a regional perspective could be something that's a real breakthrough. So Aaron, take it away and let us know what you've been working on in that regard.
Yeah, great. Hang on, let me screen share here. So the Internet Access Support Program is, as Tom mentions, I think a pretty exciting new program that we've been able to establish, and it really is kind of fundamental to the way that we work at KC Digital Drive in terms of bringing together diverse stakeholders from a lot of different sectors and parts of the region. So what we've really done is on the one hand, we've got funders and we've got funding from CARES sources right now, both the Johnson County CARES Act funding and the COVID Recovery Fund, but certainly open to other funding sources who are interested to address this critical problem of home internet access. We've got the ISPs, and we've got 7 or 8 different ISPs that we're working with to help figure out what the best way is, and it's different for all of them how to pay these bills. Some of them have programs set up to do this, and some of them it's a little trickier. We've got wireline ISPs. We have hotspot providers like both, the T-Mobiles and the Verizons, but PCs for People also. And then we've got smaller providers that maybe provide wireless or wired service in the outskirts of town. So it doesn't really matter where the program is open to any access solution. And then we've got all the coalition members who are the agencies, the people that are actually serving people in the digital divide, who have access, and you kind of constantly get people through your door who need access to service. So the Internet Access Support Program really brings those things together. And essentially the funds that we have right now and the way that we've set this program up, we can provide up to 6 months of internet service. I'm sorry, not up to, just a flat 6 months of internet service. And that includes the hardware and the connection fees if needed for a household that is 200% of the poverty level or below, and that has a hardship due to COVID and needs support for distance learning, for remote work, for health and human services. And we can also, if needed, support up to 3 months in arrears payments. So there's 2 ways to access this. One is directly. So if you have families and you want to send them, you can go to kcconnect.me. They can click Get Connected. And if this works here, they will kind of have this overview of how to get connected. They will enter their name, address, answer a few questions, and they'll go into our queue. We have a few navigators right now that are helping kind of work through that process, who will then reach back out to those people, help identify the best ISP service fit. Many of the people that we've had come through are already connected and already have a provider and really just need help paying the bill. And we'll go through a process of making sure that we verify income, get some documentation in place. There are a few different forms and stuff that you need to fill out, but work through that process with individuals who need help. So some of the agencies that we're working with say this is, we just want to be able to send the people that we work with, because the digital inclusion agencies are really the ones, for the most part, that have these contacts. So you can send them direct here, or we have a way, and this is the way that we hope as we kind of build this out, that we are able to work longer term, is to really have agency partners who can, stay that sort of client-facing side. So if you are an agency who wants to partner on this program, you can fill out this agency form here. And again, there are really two paths. One is you send clients, to the website. We also have a phone number that you can text or call, or you can send an email to help@kcconnect.me. Let me move down there and see if it's on this page, or the one before. If you can actually pass over as an agency and say, hey, we have these, 10 or 20 or 50 clients that we're working with and that we think qualify for this program, and we can kind of help do some of the legwork, that is great. And it looks a little bit different to this point for each agency partner, but we want to work with you obviously to help people get connected as soon as we can. And of course, if you're an ISP and we haven't engaged with you yet, or you're providing service, feel free to just to reach out to me. If you are a funder who would like to continue to grow the pool of money that's available, we're also interested to continue to grow those funds as well. Again, we've got about $230,000 has been allocated by the Recovery Fund, and that can go to anyone in the region. The Johnson County CARES Act Strike Force has allocated about $550,000, and that, of course, has to go to Johnson County residents. So, we feel like we've got enough to help around 2,000 families. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less. It kind of depends on the cost of each program. We've got, I think, 50 or so in the queue right now, and are still really early in the stages of running through the process. There are a lot of differences based on the agency, based on the ISP, based on the individual, based on where they live, whether it's apartment or a homeowner, and all sorts of other variables. So each of those things are kind of being built out in real time, but we do have the process open, and especially in in Johnson County, where we need to get people get that Johnson. We're really eager.
Okay, so I hope I'm going to make your life a little easier.
Okay, let me see. So what happened? Because
someone needs to mute themselves. Okay.
So I'll wrap up. I mean, feel free to ping me with any questions by email. Leslie and Mark Logan and John Fitzpatrick are all helping with this process in different ways. John is doing a lot of the agency partnership work, and Leslie is helping to work with our navigators. And we're really excited to get this thing rolling.
Great. Thanks, Aaron. And make sure, if there's any links or your email address and things like that, you can pop into the chat, the group chat. That would be perfect. Just again, to keep things moving, that was a fantastic update. I want to hand over to Rick Usher. Rick, if you could take no more than 5 or 10 minutes so we can have a little time at the end, but I'd love for you to provide an update on something that you already put out to the coalition membership, and it has to do with compiling some summary information about our digital inclusion efforts for a legislative visit update. Rick?
Thanks, Tom. This policy, I'm on the agenda as an update to a congressional delegation. That's not, I guess, entirely accurate. We're trying to figure out who is going to be having that meeting with the congressional delegation. But okay, what this is, I guess the urgency on this, though, is that, as we've said multiple times in this meeting already, that the COVID pandemic has highlighted the digital divide as just another source of inequity in the community that's negatively affecting folks. So it's also, though, gaining a lot of attention now through the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, Mid-America Regional Council, Civic Council, and KC Rising. So civic leadership is, I think, rightly so, taking notice of
the digital divide, but I think need much more information from this group on where we should be focusing efforts on addressing the digital divide, and in highlighting the programs and partnerships we have in place that can help close this. If we see, and I'm just watching, MSNBC over my shoulder here, that there's going to be significant change at the federal level, and we're going to get back to a point here soon where I think some significant funding is going to be coming our way. So if we can put together a true digital inclusion package beyond just building out infrastructure, which unfortunately is what these groups are good at. I mean, it's good that they're good at this, building it, putting infrastructure projects together, but this really is a human services issue in Kansas City. We're fortunate, to have 3 or more really solid internet service providers providing high-speed internet to all of our residents. And there are portions of the metro, if you go 17 counties or so. I think I'll just call Carrie Stewart out here, that in northern Platte County, you're not getting the same internet speed that you are, within the city limits of Kansas City, Missouri. So there are infrastructure projects that certainly could be proposed. So I put a link to this in the chat, but I've also had, some conversation with just folks on how to format a policy document for political leadership. The attention span's not that big, short statements, bulleted points, and offers of partnership are the best route to go. So, just take a look at these. As with, all the stuff I'm going to share with this group, I have no pride of ownership on this, so feel free to edit, comment. I think I did give everybody comment access. So you see, we've had some of the steering council have commented on this, but really need it to be a truly regional proposal.
And Rick, I'll just cut in on that very point. I mean, one of the main reasons we wanted to get you on the agenda for today's meeting is to reiterate that point. And please, if you're not on the group chat, go on there so you can at least click on the Google Doc link that Rick provided, because it really is a policy document that's designed to benefit from as much input from as many people as possible, just so that you can take advantage of, so that we can take advantage of, your particular knowledge, insights, experience as as we craft this from a policy perspective. So anyway, just wanted to reinforce that, Rick.
Kind of the approach I'm taking is kind of the one-liner, invest in community-based digital training and support, and then a couple of bullet points under that. And then where we have someone in our community who's written some article or something in support of a policy statement, McLean Bryant a few weeks ago published an article in the Business Journal about healthcare and digital equity. And Tom, I think you did one at PCs for People a while back. So where you've got something you've published, a policy document, let's find the right spot in this to drop that information.
Good. Well, and I know, like we said hi to John Fitzpatrick earlier, just keeping on that healthcare theme. And Tony Lupino has also been involved in this, working with community health workers, and the importance of digital literacy tools and skills and training as they do their work to help people get access to healthcare, particularly through some of the lower income communities. So this is a superb document, and again, it is literally open to any of you on this call, any of your networks, to provide input as it gets crafted into a Kansas City policy document. So anything else on that? Rick. And again, I wanted to make sure, Rick, you had a connection with the folks that have joined us today from both Lawrence and Douglas County, as well as Wichita, and other regional groups that work with their municipal governments. So
yeah, thank you. And I mean, we have a lot of momentum with the work this coalition has done. As you can see, we've got multiple libraries, UMKC and KU now with digital inclusion efforts going on, and I dropped that in here, so thanks for that information earlier. As we can show how we're building these partnerships, and then really using the coalition's voice to get this information out, I mean, we're going to be much more successful. Yeah, and so more information on this, and feel free to again add to it.
Great. Well, listen, we haven't left quite as much time as I had hoped, but it may turn out to be sufficient, because the last kind of agenda item is something I do want to spend time talking about before I go to it, and it basically has to do with the election and your reactions to the election. I do want to provide a reminder that our next meeting in December, first Friday of December, that's December 4th, 10:30 a.m. So please, if you haven't already marked down on your calendars, we do meet the first Friday of every month from 10:30 to noon. So with just 10 minutes to go before we close, this next part is really designed to be more of a round table. It's looking like most of the races, we pretty much know their outcomes in spite of legal challenges and things that we're hearing about. In some respects, there's going to be some big changes. In many respects, it's going to be more of the same. But I'm just curious to know, to what extent you all are feeling or wanting to share any reactions. Rick already shared one that we would like to think that the election results will mean that greater amounts of funding and a little bit more sympathy for digital inclusion work, if you can use that term, is going to result from what looks like the election results. But it's just nothing is certain. And so rather than us as a group of people that try to organize what the coalition meetings, talk about the agendas, the speakers, things like that, rather than us trying to presume that we've got all the answers, we wanted to leave some time, and we urge you all to email us, call us, find any ways that you can to share information about what you think the future is going to hold for our work on digital inclusion, given the election results, and what can you share with us in the last 8 or 10 minutes of the meeting. I just really quickly wanted to, I'm going back through the attendees. There's one person that I said was on the call, but I'm not sure she is, who I didn't call out, and that's Rachel Merlo from Google Fiber. And Rachel, I don't know if it doesn't look like she's on the call anymore. She did? Okay. All right. Thanks, Dave.
I was here until about 20 minutes ago. Okay,
shoot. Oh, well, my bad. Rachel's been a longtime partner and participant in the coalition. But I'm going to leave it open. Anybody care? I don't know if anyone's raised their hand or not, but if anyone would just care to share their reaction to the election in general, but certainly as it relates to the work that you and your groups and client networks and others, how you think it might be affected with the election.
Tom, I'd like to add, as a media organization, I think one of the biggest reactions I have to what we're seeing in the election is it's not good enough just to put the tools in the hands of people, give them access and give them literacy training. We also have a responsibility as in training organizations like mine to teach responsible communication and responsible use of truth in media. And, that's a big ask. That's a big requirement for a big solution to provide. But I think that that's something we need to be making sure that our children and education is filling that gap in our society. And so our organization will try to do what we can, but I think this might be something that might require some cooperation between groups to really just broaden awareness about what can be done to seek out truth in media.
That's a great point. Anybody else care to comment on Ron's perspective or anything on your own?
This is Leslie. This is just a personal thing. I've done some organizing around support for foreign aid, and I'd love to see an effort to harness this energy that we have from, both sides of the aisle, honestly, to let our elected officials know how important support for legislation is to support digital inclusion. And if anybody's interested in talking more about that, we can meet offline. But I've personally had some great success with elected officials in Washington, passing on, handwritten letters about, issues. And I think that it's great to visit, as an organization and represent organization level interests, but I think constituents really are the ones they listen to. So we could organize those stories. I think it might be powerful.
Yeah. So I have a personal reflection. The extent to which a number of candidates seem to have done well when they relied on digital forms of campaigning. I'm not here to talk about political campaigning in general because I find it oftentimes kind of hard to stomach. But the extent to which you're hearing candidates who were successful talk about the degree to which they relied on digital means of doing their campaigning, that's what I noticed. And the increasing awareness that if you're not involved from a civic perspective on using digital tools, you're going to be kind of out of the mix. And more than ever, just the global spotlight has been placed on digital inclusion and the importance across the board of the kinds of resources that we're talking about making available through the work that we're doing, with the coalition in conjunction with the Missouri Broadband Resource Rail and other things. So that really made an impact on the things that I saw and heard in the election. Who else?
Tom.
Yeah.
This is Michael Barnes from Wichita. Can
Yeah.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
go ahead, Mike.
One of the things that I read recently regarding this election, the Associated Press article, was that one of the things that this shows is that right now, more than ever, we are living in two different countries with two very opposed political belief structures. And it's going to be a long time before those things are welded back into one. And I think the importance for us as we look at these kind of issues is how valuable and how important these regional coalitions become when there's such dysfunction at a higher level.
That's a great point. That's a great point. It's almost like we can start sharing examples hierarchically in reverse order. If we can show at local and regional levels the way unity brings about progress and in a positive sense, hopefully that can bleed out and up to higher levels of the way government functions. So that's a really interesting insight, Michael. Who else has something that they'd care to share?
So Tom,
yeah,
I'll just, if we go back to like 2015, 2016, in the Obama administration, the Connect Home program that was operational here in Kansas City, it had a really big impact on connecting housing authority residents. I think Google Fiber is still serving, I think it's like close to 900 housing authority owned residences, households with gigabit service at no charge. What they were able to do at the time was bring in some really big national partners. And so I'm hoping that something like that is going to occur again. And again, as we look at this policy program, we should look at developing that into some larger program. And the biggest deal I'm having on the developing strategies is developing the performance metrics. And like we're going to meet with FEC next week about workforce development programs. I mean, they've got their metrics on what success looks like. We need to figure out what the metrics look like, and this probably comes from you, Tom, you know, just on households served, devices deployed, connectivity made, and then Aaron, the payment assistance program, you know, how we're funding that. So that
Well, there's room in the document to get, that's something that I'll add another comment, and I hope those of you who are still on the call, if you haven't already, do click on that link to that Google Doc. We really need, you know, kind of a widespread input on the kinds of things Rick's talking about. There's a variety of ways that we can measure our success in digital inclusion, and they rely on each of your perspectives, things that, you know, on our own we might not be able to think of. Anyway, I'm looking at the clock. I know I have to be on a 12 o'clock call, so I want to thank everybody. Those of you who stuck it out. I mean, this was what the coalition is all about: getting to know each other, who we are, where we're coming from, what we're doing, and how we can benefit from sharing with each other. So, looking forward to seeing you all next month, Friday, December 4th at 10:30. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Tom.
And go Chiefs. All right. Bye, everybody.